In this video, let us see how to deploy the Next.js on render platform for free. Here you can see I have a very basic to-do app here, and we're going to deploy this to-do app to the render. First, what I will do is I will show you the demo. You consider here you can enter any task, and then once you have completed, you can delete it. So we will deploy this to the render. First, let me stop the render server. So we need to make some changes in the backend. So let me stop the render server over here. So this is my package.json file. So make sure in the package.json file you have these two scripts, that is the task script and the build script, and below that you need to add the engines. So inside the engine, so you need to define the node version. So make sure you mention the node version is greater than 20. So these are the configurations that you need to set. So once you have set everything, so these two are very important, this task script and the build script, then you don't have to do anything. In the next.config.ts file also you don't have to do anything. So normally you will define the here, right, output equal to export standalone. For render, you don't have to define this. You can leave this blank for now. So once we have configured that, you can push your code to the GitHub. Let me go to the GitHub now, and let me go to my repositories list. Actually, I have already pushed my code to the repo, but what I will do is I will create a new branch. Here you can see I have all my codes over here, but this is for Vessel deployment. I have already made a video about how to deploy the Next.js on Vessel. So if you haven't watched that out, you can also deploy Next.js on Vessel for free as well. I will provide the link in the description. You can check that out. So, but here what I will do is I will create a new branch now. Let me see the status now. So this status, you consider we have modified two files, right? So I'm going to add two files. Then what I will do is I will create a new branch. So git branch -m, I'm going to create a branch called the render deploy. Now if I check the branch now, you consider currently we are on the render deploy branch. Then I'm going to add the origin. So git remote add origin. So the URL is this one. So let me go to repo. So let me copy the repo URL and paste the repo URL over here. And you can see remote origin already exists. So we can push now. So git push origin. So I'm going to push on the render deploy branch and press enter. You can see that we have successfully pushed our code to the repo. Then what we can do is we can go to the GitHub and check if the pushes are completely updated. Here you can see we have a branch, right, render deploy, and we have successfully pushed. So what I will do is currently the default branch is Vessel deploy. We'll have to change the default branch. To do that, just go to the settings, and here in the settings you have your option called the default branch. So make sure you change the default branch to render deploy and click on update. So let me click on this button over here as well. I understand, update the default branch. Now let me go to the port. Now if you look at the default branch, currently the default branch is render deploy. Once you have configured everything, then you can go to the render.com. You can see that your fastest way to deploy. Here just click on dashboard now. Here you need to log in. I recommend you log in using your GitHub account. So let me click on GitHub now to sign in. I have already made an account. So let me select my GitHub account over here. Here in this render, you can see that I have already deployed 6 applications over here. I have deployed 4 Python 1 and 1 Node 1. You can see that, and 1 static one. If you want to deploy a new one, just click on this new button over here, and then you have 3 options: static side or web service or private service. So click on web service, and here you need to select the Git provider. So if you have connected your GitHub account over to this render, then you can search for the repo name over here. But I haven't connected. What I will do is I will go to the public repo now, and then I will provide the GitHub URL over here. So let me copy the repo URL and paste the repo URL over here, and then click on connect. Here you can see it starts loading, and you consider it give us some configuration page. Here you need to provide the app name. So I will select to the app. Then for the language, make sure you select the Node as well, and here you can see the default branch, that is the render deploy. Then for the build command, make sure you leave this as default, and make sure in the package.json file you have this build script and the start script. Consider npm install, npm run build, and npm run start. So make sure you have 2 scripts over here in the package.json file, then only you push. So then the instance type will be, I'm going to select the free version, and if you have any variables, you can add over here. Once you have configured literally everything, then you click on deploy web service. Actually, the name is already taken. So what I will do is I will remove the app over here, and then I'm going to go to the bottom and click on deploy web service. Here you can see it starts deploying our Next.js application, right? So it will take some time. So you don't have to do anything. Just wait. Here you can see it is cloning our repo now, and it is building. you consider it is running the command npm install, and consider build is successful and your service is live and it is available at this URL. So once you got a message like this, that means your deployment has been successful and you can open the URL there. So let me open up the URL now, and you can see we have successfully deployed our Next.js application on the render platform. Let me check by adding some tasks. So you can see I have able to add and I was able to delete as well. So this is how you deploy the Next.js on the render. And if you want to add a custom domain, you can go to the render, and here you can go to settings, and then if you scroll down, there will be an option called the custom domain. So if you have your custom domain, you can connect your custom domain over here. So let me show you. So if you scroll down, consider here you have the custom domain section. You can add your custom domain, but it will require you to upgrade to the render premium plan. So yeah, so this is how you deploy the Next.js on the render.